Hello, I'm Ashley Warren. I am a storyteller and a narrative designer who has worked primarily on Dungeons and Dragons projects. And I just received in the mail a copy of a project that I worked on a few years ago called Heckna. And this project is published by Hit Point Press. They make amazing tabletop products and game settings. And back in, I think it was probably 2018 or 2019, they approached me about working on a project called Heckna, which is a play on the word Vecna, which is a very famous character, famous villain in Dungeons and Dragons lore. And they wanted to create a campaign setting that was a circus. And they had compared it to the comps that they used were like Beetlejuice and like movies like It, like that kind of horror mixed with something that's kind of comedic. And that's absolutely my jam. I love things in that style and genre, like spooky, funny, creepy things. Like that mix of that is just like, love it. So of course I was like, absolutely yes, love to develop this setting with you. At the time, I was still relatively new into my journey as a tabletop narrative designer. Um, And so writing a whole campaign setting from scratch, or at least from the early stages, was very new to me. I had a lot to learn. So I dove in and I learned a lot in the process, and I worked with some amazing people. And I feel like it really encouraged me to develop my skill set. So it's a project that I'm really proud of because not only did I get to help kind of craft this campaign, but I did a lot of creature design and setting design. And that was really fun and fulfilling. And it's really cool to see a lot of those concepts come to life in these types of, in this book. Because I've worked on quite a few tabletop books, including Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. And although I loved working on that book, there's less kind of creative freedom there, which is a fun challenge in its own way. So I was given a lot of creative freedom to develop some kind of new creatures and gameplay and things here. And over the years that it's been in development, it's just an amazing team that worked on it and really added so much to it and kind of took those original concepts that I helped seed and we turned it into this incredible book. So it's been a long time in the making, and also the COVID pandemic, which is still going on, but like kind of the early stages of it, were really disruptive for a lot of publishing industries, a lot of creative industries. So it's very exciting to finally have this in person. So I wanted to unbox it and actually film myself unboxing it because I thought it would be a fun opportunity to talk through some of the things that I recognize and remember from early in the process and just kind of my parts in it, and just really enjoy the fruits of mine and a lot of people's labor and a lot of people who worked really hard on it, and also talk maybe a little bit about some of the design from the perspective of a narrative designer. Okay, so this is the Heckna box set. I got the special edition one. The art in this book is incredible, and I'll say that this is the first time I'm seeing most of this in print. I saw a prototype of Heckna earlier this year when I was at the Gamma game. What does Gamma stand for? Anyway, it's an industry convention for publishers, game publishers. And so I was able to see some of the folks at Hit Point Press there, and they had a prototype copy of Heckna there, but it was just the book. So this is the first time I'm seeing a lot of the other fun stuff that goes with it. Okay, so I am opening this as we talk through this. So I got the box set, which includes a lot of other fun stuff. One of which is this set of dice, which are made to look like popcorn. I thought that was the cutest thing ever. We really went heavy into the circus theme, which is one reason why I loved working on it, because I love circuses and carnivals and commedia dell'arte, and a lot of those kind of old traditions made its way into this book. So we really went in on that aesthetic. But the Hit Point Press team is known for making just really great products and merchandise. They have just an incredible eye for quality and design. So when they said that they were going to be making some of these other things to go with it, I was like, that's so clever. So yeah, so these are popcorn dice, and they come with this bag that I'll take out of the sleeve that looks like a popcorn bag. It's so cute. It's so clever. There's just this beautiful typography for Heckna. Yeah, it's just so cool. So yeah, so this is where you put your popcorn dice. It's like a little popcorn bag. Just fabulous. This stuff like speaks to me on such a spiritual level. Actually, I'll open my dice so you can see. And popcorn and snacks and all that fun stuff is, I think, a really fun part of this game. Ooh, okay, cool. So when you open this box, you can see some art here. That's by my wonderful best friend in the whole world, Kayla Klein. And it was really fun because we love working on projects together as real life friends. And we're both really excited to see the work that we did together now finally be out in the world. But she designed this really creepy creature that's called like a schnozzling. And it's basically like this parasitical clown nose that gloms itself onto unsuspecting people's faces and turns them into clowns. And that's like a whole mechanic in the book. It's really creepy and kind of gross, but it's cool. It's so cool to see her art actually like in a product. So yay, Kayla! And she's also so good at making creepy creature design. And I learned a lot from that process, both from Kayla's art and just some of the other folks who did more of the like the stat block building for a lot of the creatures. So pretty. So these look actually like buttery popcorn. Here's a D20. It's got the little Heckna symbol right there. So my camera will focus. Yeah, really fun. Just be hungry for popcorn. Okay, so that's one of the cool props that you get when you get the special edition box set. Then you also get the animated spell card. Woo, so cool. And these are Heckna specific. So if you are familiar with Hit Point Press, one of the reasons that a lot of folks know about them is because they are known for their animated spell cards. So they basically design like holographic, is that the right word? Animated spell cards so that they kind of bring to life the effects of the spell. And they've done these for like all D&D spells, or maybe if not all, most. And so this deck is Heckna specific. So we have there's some original magic in the setting. I mean, it's very detailed. It's a very rich setting, very atmospheric. And like kind of no stone is left unturned with it. So there's original creatures, there's original spells. Oh gosh, these are so cool. This is the first time I've seen all this as a reminder. So my reaction is very genuine. So this one's Pinball Punisher. Don't know how well this will show on camera, but you can kind of see the animation. Just gorgeous. So cool. There's like contagious laughter, which I think it might be kind of a riff on like Tasha's Hideous Laughter and things like that. Oh, here's one. Ever blobbing glob hopper. Yeah, really cool, really fun. And then all the information about the spell is on the back. Delightful. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, and then we have the DM screen. Oh, I love a custom DM screen that goes with the setting that you're playing. So if you see, actually I'll take the plastic coating off so we can see it unobstructed. So the setting in which the story takes place is called the Revelia. That is basically the name of this carnival. And the loose gist of it is that people, like players, are invited to join this traveling circus or to attend this traveling carnival. It exists in kind of its own little pocket realm. And at first you join, and there's all these cool things to see, all these spectacles, and then things start to get progressively darker and more dangerous and spookier. But at first, kind of your first initial, thoughts when you visit are like supposed to be a wonder. So here's kind of the first take of the Revelia. And you can see that it has kind of that traditional circus motif. There's a big tent. There's the other striped tents. And you get there through like this magical forest. Kind of your standard tropes that we put our own spin on. Ooh, and then on the back, we get to see some glimpses of Heckna. So that's to get into the fun house. So it's like an actual tongue that like unfurls to like scoop people in. So cool. That's kind of one of our instances of seeing Heckna, who you might have guessed is the titular character. Villain or friend is up to you to decide. But he's a delight. And then here's a glimpse of the Revelia in its kind of more truthful form. It's more grittier, honest self. Oh, and then here's a fun view of Heckna. Big Heckna holding a little tiny unsuspected reveler. So yeah, there's just some really great art, really atmospheric art. Oh, cool. Okay, so here is the map of the Revelia. So everything. So I'm not doing a very good job at this. This is my first time doing an unboxing video, even though they've been popular on the internet for like 20 years. So this is the whole map of the Revelia, and it's broken up into sections. And so actually throughout the campaign, the sections get kind of like progressively harder and more dangerous to explore, which has some really fun gameplay mechanics. And the whole campaign takes place at the Revelia. And there's also this, I know it's hard to see here, but there's a really cool gameplay effect based on phases of the moon. And I was really excited I did some kind of foundational setup for the phases of the moon, and then some of the amazing folks that I worked with really built it out into this really complex mechanic that I think is really unique. But it's basically like, depending on the phase of the moon, that determines how wild and unhinged and dangerous things are. And then there's something called like a blood moon, which is like full out pure chaos and danger. But it's really cool, and it's a fun like kind of environmental effect that happens at the Revelia. So pretty cool. So a lot of that is laid out in this DM screen. So I feel like that is well worth getting if you plan to run a whole Heckna campaign. Okay, now it's time to open the big box. So like I said, so I got the special edition. Of course, when you work on a project, you have to get the best version of it. It's like if you write a book, you have to get the special edition book, you know? Like, why not? I will say, like, the standard version is also gorgeous, so you're not really going wrong either way. But I feel like it has such a cool aesthetic. And I'll share some of the artist names and whatnot when I open it, because a lot of people worked on this project, and I don't want to leave anyone out or incorrectly credit anyone. Okay. Taking off the plastic. Ooh, I have butterflies in my stomach. There's like nothing more satisfying to touch the work that you've done. It's just so rewarding. I want this experience for everyone. Okay, so here's kind of a better view. It's heavy. Of this gorgeous cover. So that's Heckna. That's kind of this specific interpretation. I would say Heckna, he's supposed to be, he's the ringleader of this carnival. And so there's all these different sides to him. That's why we do this phases of the moon element, because I kind of based a lot of his design on those kinds of elements. I wanted to really connect it to nature in a way that was like this twisted version of nature, because that's kind of what Heckna does. He takes something and he like twists it and makes it creepy, and it's weird, but that's like his magic, basically. And so he is designed a lot like a traditional court jester, you know, with like kind of the elaborate headwear and the striped ensemble. And some of you know that I love playing warlocks, and I love warlock lore because I love the idea of like patrons and like these cosmic entities. And so that's he's kind of lich-like. He's kind of this like cosmic being who has taken elements of the universe and magic and really like disrupted it and like distorted it. But yeah, he has really, I think the design of Heckna took me a while to kind of refine. And we were, I think, fairly into the project when we started talking about the design of Heckna. And then Rico, who runs Hit Point Press and is also like a designer and cares very deeply about design and visuals. And I feel like that is very evident in everything that they make. But Rico was like, hey, what does Heckna look like? Like can you write up a description of Heckna so that we can start getting art made and things like that. So I had to think very critically about what does Heckna look like? How will that translate into the story? How will that be described when characters encounter Heckna? And because he's the titular character, he has to have a very distinct look. So I wanted him to be a clown and a ringleader, but also have some elements that were unique to him. And also have hints to his dark side, because when you meet Heckna, I think at first it's supposed to be disarming because he's charming and he's very jovial. Like I was thinking very Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas, who I love as a character because he's very charming. He's kind of sweet, but he has these moments of displaying real terror. And I always thought that was a really fun dynamic. I love like Tim Burton and that style of horror, which I don't know if everyone always considers to be a horror. I do. It's its own, there's a genre of horror that is not necessarily the goriest, but it's more, and I wouldn't even say it's psychological horror, but there's definitely like a specific atmosphere there that I just really like. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I just took the lid off. There's so much to show. Okay, more than I was expecting. Okay, so there is a box, flat lay box to put the reference cards into. And there's a whole bunch of reference cards, but I love that it comes with the box. Okay, cool. It's been a few years since I worked on this, so a lot of it is coming back to me. All the things that we made. Oh, man, so cool. Okay, sorry, I know, dead air. Okay, I'll open some of the cards in just a minute. And then there's also the Shuffle Stories Engine Random Encounter Deck. And this is something that took us a while to kind of really flesh out, because I can't remember, at some point we discussed having a deck of cards be part of the campaign, in part because it fits the setting. And I love playing cards as like a motif. I live in Nevada, so it's like, to me, that's part of our Nevada aesthetic. But we wanted to have a way for people to basically easily make Heckna encounters and campaigns that you could play without having to necessarily play the full campaign book as it's written. So this is a really cool way of making a full story where you can revisit the Revelia over and over again and have a different story every time. It was really important that there was a lot of replayability there. So there's the whole deck here. I might open that up in a little bit, but I'll show you more. And then there's some of the creature cards and magical items. The magical items in this game are so cool. More NPCs. God, the NPC design is just a delight. Creatures, lots of fun stuff to look at. Oh gosh, ooh, this like gives me goosebumps. I feel like I'm gonna get choked up because it's just I felt like this project. I felt like they really took a chance on me because I was still a relatively new designer at the time, and it was a big project. So to see your ideas be given this level of like love and care and quality is like really, it feels really special. Because they said yes to a lot of things that I proposed, and I'm grateful for that. And the things that were changed or adjusted, it's like with such thought. And like lots of feedback collected. So I think it's just a really great project for that reason. Oof, look at this. It's the map of the Revelia. Is that gorgeous? Oh, I want a whole blanket. I'm gonna wear this as a shirt. That's so cool. So yeah, if you get the box set, you get this gorgeous map that you can actually like use to play during your games. Wow. Oh, okay. And also, I have to talk about this map. So this map is a character in the game. His name is McNally, which any of you travel buffs will recognize that name. So yeah, McNally is actually like a character that you meet, and he's like this magical map. So you get to actually like interact with him throughout the campaign, and he helps tell you where to go, sometimes for better or worse. But there's so much in this campaign setting that's like about sentient items, which I think is really fun. Okay, so this is one of my favorite props that I've seen online, but this is my first time seeing it in person. But this is like the golden ticket to be invited to the Revelia. Is this not the most special thing ever? Can you imagine like playing a Heckna game and like your DM like gives you this invite? This is gorgeous. I like want to keep it in my wallet. So it says, come enjoy the marvels of the Revelia. We are not responsible for any dismemberment, maiming, poisoning, animal attacks, any parasites that you may catch, and any of their afflictions. Which I feel like tonally that's like encapsulates this in a nutshell. Oh, so pretty. It's like, it's gold foil. It's embossed. Chef's kiss. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this is like, it's like Christmas. So cool. So also in here are carnival tickets. And this is also like a real mechanic in the game where you get a certain amount of tickets to do certain things. Of course, if you're going to run a carnival game, you have to have like a ticketing mechanic. So yeah, so there's real tickets. They're like real carnival tickets. That's the best thing ever. Best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Okay, that maybe that's not true, but it's definitely up there. Top 10. Okay. Oh, here's a big paper version of the map. Cool. So you could use this at your table as well. Although honestly, that cloth version is like to die for. Oh, cool. I got another DM screen. That's sweet. Maybe I will do a giveaway. I don't know. Let me know. Post down in the comments if you want me to do a giveaway. You tell I YouTube a lot. Ooh, okay. This is like an awesome box set. Like I gotta say. It's like, I think I'm pretty sure I knew everything that they had planned to include, but it's like, this is legit. It's like totally worth it. Okay, so there's all these like tokens of creatures. Oh my god. Oh, that's all the NPCs and creatures you can meet. And they're tokens that you can like punch out of this and use at your table. Oh my god, I'm losing it. Bumping my mic, making lots of unpleasant noise. Wow, 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 wow. So cool. So amazing. And here's more. I accidentally just knocked one out, but we can see some of the different, all the different creatures and things we all design. How cool. I have to say, okay, here's a few of my favorites. Where am I going? Over here. Okay, so these two, where's my finger? Okay, here we go. These two right here, or I think we used to call them like awakened marionettes. They're basically like sentient puppets, and I love them. Those are two of my favorite NPCs in this whole book. Because I love dolls, love puppets. I always feel like I was a puppet maker in a past life, like a puppet maker from Prague. Because I just love the puppet, the history of puppetry so much. I think it's so cool and creative. And so I think the marionettes were the first creature that I came up with for this. And it's gone through many iterations since then, but I just was like, we gotta have puppets, gotta have marionettes. And some of the first actual NPCs, that was like really early on. Okay, so here's like the Heckna, like, it's kind of like his logo. He's very well branded. Enamel pin. Oh, cool. And then here's all the little like token holders for the things that I was just showing you. You just slot them in, use them on your table. Brilliant. Heckna playing cards with this gorgeous design on it. I'm obsessed with this art. And there's more on this fruit. So cool. I mean, just like look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think that's one of our hunters. And here's the back of it. So as part of the story, when the player characters arrive at the Revelia, eventually they meet someone who is also like hunting Heckna, so they kind of can develop an ally, but each option has a very distinct story and reason for wanting to do so. And it was really cool thinking of like how to make some really distinct characters. Oh, that's a poster. Okay, I'm gonna definitely hang this in my office. Presenting Heckna. So this is the cover of the standard edition, which I say in quotes because it's like still an amazing version of the book, but this is the cover of that, I believe. It's like a carnival poster. And that is in the game too. The posters talk to you as you're playing, and they different things, like they're animated in their own right. So cool. Okay. Now for the big reveal. We're getting to the book. And because this is the special edition one, it's this cover that I think is just like the most stunning book cover of any project that I've worked on. And I gotta say, I've been really freaking lucky to work on some amazing books that have incredible covers. I feel like this one's paralleled only by the Icewind Dale alt cover is like incredible. Like I want it as a tattoo. And then I gotta say like the Uncaged covers are like really special to me. But this one, I don't know. This is like so my aesthetic. Like it just makes me so proud to look at this because even though I wasn't really involved in the art direction other than the some of the character design. But Hit Point Press just like has this knack for picking artists with such a distinct voice and vision. Like I would have never in a million years dreamed of like Heckna like being portrayed like this, and it's like, oh my god, it fits so well. How gorgeous is that? He's on the back cover too, and then the spine. Okay, now I get to open it. Oh my gosh, look at this inside cover. You see all the different creatures and people you might meet. All their heads lovingly, gruesomely lined up. Just brilliant. Oh, and then I gotta show this page off. This is by Kayla Klein. Those are her gruesome, yucky snozzlings that I actually think are pretty cute. Okay. And I just want to share kind of the list of credits. Because it's just, here's all the amazing people who worked on it. I'll shout out some names. Really special to see your name in print. It always gets me really choked up to see my name included in these amazing books. Like how grateful I am for these experiences. So yeah, I just want to quickly talk through a few people. I was very fortunate to be on the writing team. I worked with just some of the best writers I've ever met, including Yubi, who I've been fortunate to know for a while. We worked together on Uncaged. They are one of our instructors at Storytelling Collective. Just a great writer, game designer. Verity, Dominic Parisian. I feel like really challenged me to up my game as a writer, and I'm really endlessly grateful. He gave me so many specific, it's like when you have an amazing editor, project manager, a storyteller, like Dominic's an incredible storyteller, just really push you. It's like there's nothing more valuable. And I just was really lucky to be paired with this group. Jordan has so much vision for this book, and I can only imagine how proud he is to see all this come together. And then T.R. Rowe, who was a fellow writer and also an editor for me early on in this project, and someone that I talked with a lot about this, and who basically gave me some notes really early on and was like, have fun, which I really kind of appreciate. It's rare to get that kind of freedom. Wow, so many folks credited here that I want to talk about, but probably won't for the sake of this, but maybe I'll write a blog post. But I just wanted to shout out a few other people. Ryan Service from 2C Gaming is an amazing game designer, really excellent creature designer. Again, also really pushed me, asked me very thoughtful questions that encouraged me to think more critically about creature design and also the mechanical aspects of that, which is not my strong suit. So thank you, Ryan, for all of your amazing insight and support and help. Rico, who invited me to be part of this project from the beginning. Thank you so much for believing in me and giving me this incredible opportunity to write kind of the book of my dreams, honestly. There's so much in here that is like closely linked to who I am as a storyteller. And it just makes me really proud to see it all come together with the vision of this just amazing team. Because I know that the Hit Point Press team had wanted to make this book for a long time, way before I came on board. So I'm hoping that they feel as proud of it as I do. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, so many amazing people worked on this. Please check out the list of credits wherever you can get it. I'll post some information in the description below. Okay. I'm not going to go through this whole book, but I do want to just show a few things that I think are really cool. I do not have the best setup to show this, but so here's Heckna and all of his creepy glory. Isn't he gorgeous? I mean, like, I want to cosplay this. But yeah, his design, as you can probably see, has a lot of allusion to the traditional court jesters, like I mentioned, with kind of this like tentacly type headdress. And he's supposed to feel really like a corrupted humanoid. Oh, although this is, I think, really funny is like baby Heckna. Can you imagine? I have a toddler, so maybe I can't imagine. Yeah, so there's just this campaign overview, and then there's this book is split up into different sections that really increase in difficulty and drama, and it's really fun, and I feel like it's a pretty unique approach to a 5th edition campaign. We do some things here that I think are kind of experimental. And I'm curious to get people's feedback. I think it's pretty cool. We wanted to make a campaign that was easy to run. And I will say, even though I've worked on Wizards of the Coast books and projects, I don't always find the official D&D books like that approachable to run. There's just a lot of information, and there's a lot of work involved in like piecing together everything to make a compelling campaign for your particular table. And so we really wanted to have a very easy campaign to understand from a GM's perspective, with a lot of freedom there to do whatever you want to do. So I think it's pretty balanced in that way, personally. Okay, so that's the Repelia. Showed you some of that art already. I'm trying to think if there's like a specific thing I want to show. Oh yeah, so I mentioned, sorry for bumping my mic. I mentioned the marionettes. This is Ramona. She runs like the hostel there. I adore her. I love her design. She's a hot mess, and we love her for it. Yeah, there's a whole section about playing carnival games. There's carnival snacks. Oh, this is fun. Oh, I love this one. Okay, this is the Tunnel of Love. So I designed it to be like an anatomical heart. So it has like 4 chambers that you go through, and inside you meet different creatures and things. Yeah, so this I was pretty proud of this. So yeah, so it's like set up like a heart, which I just thought was a fun idea. Like when you have a gruesome carnival, you have to like have like literal interpretations of things like that. Like if you're gonna have a tunnel of love that looks like a heart, it's gotta look like a real heart, and it's gotta be gross, and like the river in it has to be bloody. Like that's like the theme. That's like the spirit of this game. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's just so much fun stuff. Oh yeah. Okay, so then there's like the big top, and of course there's like a ton of stuff to do in the big top. But you can go to all these different shows, but then there's like, these really wondrous things to encounter, which I think is really like fun. There's just so much roleplay potential. Like I'm hoping people will spend like really some like at least a year like really playing through this campaign and like getting real deep into it, because I think if you do, you'll be really rewarded for that, because it's a campaign that will reward longevity. You don't have to do it that way, but you definitely can. So I think if you want to geek out about it, like please do, because there's so much material here. Oh, and then there's like another self-contained adventure. You want to see something really creepy? I'm going to put a quick content warning. If you don't like spiders, this is a spider NPC, one of the villains, named Arachne, of course. Is that so creepy? It creeps me out, and I like kind of made him one of my creepy babies. But yeah, I feel like genre-wise, if you like creepy stuff, if you like funny stuff, if you like retro stuff, there's like some kind of references to 80s movies and things like that. Like there's a Guitar Hero arcade game. What do we call it? Like Loot Hero or something like that, where you like play a lute instead of a guitar. It's very cute and funny. Lots of puns. If you don't like puns, this is not the book for you. Oh, I'm just looking and remembering all the amazing things we came up with. So there's one NPC that you can make called the Toy Maker, and they are like the most aware version of the awakened marionettes, and they can potentially become an ally, or they're something that you encounter, but they can kind of serve as a liaison between the party and the other awakened marionettes and things like that. And they have a really interesting connection to one of the main villains, but their design is like, oh, so good. It's so good. like, do you ever get like nervous tummy because you're so excited? That's how I feel right now. Okay. So gosh, there's so much to say about this book. If anyone would be interested in me talking more from like a creative diary experience, like to kind of talk through kind of the thought process and things like that, I would be happy to share insight. I know I always like to hear that from other creatives, and I learned so much. And just given my line of work, since I work with so many RPG writers, there's a lot that I learned that I would be happy to kind of impart if you aspire to work on a book like this. I feel so like lucky right now to have worked on this. It was a lot of work for everyone involved, but what an awesome, gorgeous, amazing project. And I would also like to say that this book, we worked really hard to make it inclusive. I believe really strongly, and so do the other people who worked on it, that just because something is about horror does not mean that it needs to be alienating or offensive. Like there's a lot in this book about safety tools, which in the tabletop community, there's some amazing people who put together different versions of what they call tabletop safety tools to ensure that everyone at the table is having fun, and you don't feel like you're delving into things that are painful or triggering, because I believe that horror should be consensual to experience when it's within media. Like you should be able to choose and be conscious and thoughtful of the kind of horror that you want to explore, because there's so many subsets of horror and it doesn't work for everyone. So this book really sets you up to have the experience that you want and gives you some specific frameworks for doing that. Anyway, amazing book. I wanted to quickly show you some of the cards. I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to show you the most. I think I'm going to do some of the NPCs, because coming up with a lot of NPCs is hard, because they all have to be fairly fleshed out, because you never know who players are going to get really attached to or want to do, I don't know, like want to murder in horrible ways. You never know. Oh, these look so cool. Okay, so this one's cute. So this one is Felix. He runs a place called Felix's Elixirs, which is in like the food court, and he gives you some questionable stuff. Magnanimo is this three creepy children in a trench coat. Oh, Heckna himself, of course. Oh, I love that there's so many versions of Heckna. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at this Heckna reading a romance novel. Is that not the vibe, as the kids say? Love it. Let's see if there's another fun one to talk about. Oh yeah, Locke. Love Locke. He is like the lost and found keeper, because he's a bird. He likes his little trinkets. So he's fun to talk to. Oh, this is I love this creature, lovebirds. Because I'm me, I wanted to have something that was imp-like. And you can meet the lovebirds in the Tunnel of Love. But, we wanted to do something that was a little bit more unique than an imp. But I love imps. I love just like little creepy, mischievous things, just like delights me. So there's a lot of that to find. Okay, well, I think that's a good overview. So I'm going to end this video now. But I just want to say thank you so much to Hit Point Press for giving me this opportunity. I loved working on this book. I hope that you and your whole team is proud of what you made, because this is like a gorgeous box set. What an incredible assortment of items. And just to anyone watching this, I think you will really enjoy this game. So definitely give it a chance and check it out. So yeah, thanks. And let me know if you have any questions or want me to show anything in more detail, because there's a lot to show. Okay, well, if you were interested in writing your own D&D work, got to do a plug, because this is, my livelihood. I run the Storytelling Collective, through which we have the RPG Writer Workshop, and that is where you can learn how to write for your favorite game systems, including D&D. We have a very actionable and project-based framework that helps you finish your first project, and we have an amazing community. And it's always my goal to uplift my fellow creatives and hopefully see your books and these amazing box sets in the future. So I'll put a link to that below, and check that out later. All right, folks, see you later.